Let's continue.
Rapping was over for now. It came like a sudden decision. I don't give a fuck about you snakes or these other musicians. Niggas started fucking with my family. I'm going to prison. And we all crashing out together. My brother's complicit. Who put a pipe bomb in your trunk? It was an exhibit. I'm trying to blow the doors off that bitch when you touch the ignition.
Yo. Okay, so he pretty much just rapped this whole thing. So I wanted you to hear the whole thing before I stepped in and said something. All right, so let's go back to the top. We just talked about that he's clearly talking to P. Diddy Combs. And I'm going to explain to you how I know he's talking to him, because yo, this entire verse is to P. Diddy Combs, but he did it in such a slick way to the point to where it also relates to him as well. I 100% give him props for this verse because he did it so well. He did it so well. All right, so let's jump into it. So as I stated before, if you're not saying a prayer for someone that's religious, you're clearly saying the opposite of that. So religious prayers tend to be happy prayers, prayers that are for lifting up a person. But if it's the opposite of a religious prayer, then that means that I'm praying on your downfall. I'm praying for you to fail, right? So he's probably praying that whatever Diddy is going through, that he really gets what he deserves. But I wonder why. So let's continue. It came from a place of desperation and utter submission. What you mean by that, Drake? Huh? What do you mean by that, Drake? I have a hypothesis of what he could possibly mean by that. Came from a place of desperation and utter submission. All right, cool. Y'all remember when it was brought back up that Diddy slapped him out a couple years back? Just bitch smacked him? Yeah, when Kendrick brought that back up, I think in Euphoria, that was pretty embarrassing. And he also brought up the fact that he got peed on. So a lot of people started circulating those stories again during the beginning of the beef. And I'm sure that was extremely embarrassing for him. And it also bruised his ego, right? Rightfully so. Because it's like, who wants to get called out for something when they were kind of in a position in the game where they still were learning and trying to come up in the ranks, and they just didn't have the heart to be like that guy, that dude who stands up for himself. To be honest, he probably still don't stand up for himself. His crew probably stands up for him. But it's like coming from a place of desperation and utter submission. Yo, my brother ended up saying something to me that was like, what the fuck? I was a little taken aback. I'm like, well, it came from embarrassment and the fact that he feel like he had to submit to this man in that situation to protect himself. But then my brother ended up bringing up something, and I was like, yo, I don't know if I should say that, but I'm gonna say it. Don't beat me up, y'all, but I'm gonna say it. So y'all know everything that's going on with the whole Diddy situation, right? And how a lot of people have been being called out for being at these Diddy parties, and some people have been accused of actually sleeping with Diddy, and also some people have been accused of being taken advantage of by Diddy. So it's like it came from a place of desperation and utter submission. He could be fucked up by something that Diddy did to him or Diddy forced him to do in the beginning of his career. And it's all coming to the surface. I'm not going to make no speculations about what that could have been, because Diddy is a gross, disgusting guy, right? We all are at that same consensus after everything that we've witnessed and things that have been talked about that we still haven't gotten solid proof on. But I mean, the evidence seems thick, okay? But it is a possibility that Drake could have possibly been taken advantage of by Diddy in more ways than one. And the slapation of it all could possibly be something that came from something else. I'm just throwing it out there. I pray that Diddy never did anything to this man that would make him feel a certain way. But let's call it what it is. People called him out earlier last year about doing other things, the OV ho, other vaginal option. Just saying. If this man is talking that deep in such a quick and concise way without really saying nothing, he's heartbroken, right? And you can tell he's heartbroken. But it's like, damn. And I really hope that it's not that much behind that line. And no one is talking about that. I know for sure no one's talking about that. But let's move on. Rapping was over for now. It came like a sudden decision. What was one of the biggest things that took place or that everyone was talking about when Diddy ended up getting arrested? Didn't it seem like the rap game just went silent? No one was talking. Even Joe was like, why the group chat silent? Like, it's radio silence. Ain't nobody saying nothing to nobody. No one's tweeting like that. Everybody's being conscious about what they're tweeting or what they're putting on social media. Everyone should look like they chilling out. Oh shit, did everybody go on vacation? So it just seemed like the rap game had like went silent when the whole Diddy accusations came out and he ended up getting locked up. Because once he got locked up and they revealed that those tapes were found, it did seem like an eerie amount of silence from the hip hop game. Now, granted, the YouTubers didn't shut up. The YouTubers and the people on social media got louder, but it seemed like the rap game got real conservative out of nowhere, right? But then on the flip side, what just happened to Drake? His entire career just went radio silent. Damn near all of last year after Not Like Us came out. So once the beef came to its head, which Not Like Us was the popping of the pimple. Once the pimple was popped, it just seemed like it was just radio silence. Now, granted, for Drake, a lot of other people were also silent too. And they were dropping like little stuff here and there. But then people was calling them out saying like, damn, what type of song is this? Why y'all rapping on these weird songs? Like, don't nobody want to actually rap no more? Don't nobody want to put out no real good music anymore? For some reason, J. Cole and Drake, both of them, had put out some weird songs right after Not Like Us was kind of in the radio waves. And everyone was jamming to Not Like Us all summer. And it just seemed like Drake and J. Cole they kind of seemed neutered. Now, granted, people were saying that Drake was dropping music. Man, I ain't hear none of this music. Outside of Wagwan Delilah. Wagwan Delilah? What the fuck is that? Like, what? Man, when I heard that song, I was like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he did a song with Sexy Red, which I thought was cheesy as fuck. My husband liked it, but I thought it was cheesy. You know, he trying to turn the BBO Drizzy tagline into his favor. It's like, dude, that's corny as fuck, but whatever. That's kind of like the, what do you say? The B minor or the B major. He tried to turn the A minor into a line that worked in his favor. All right. Okay, dude, I gotcha. It didn't work. And people called you cheesy for it. I thought the same thing for the BBO Drizzy, but it was like, I think he had ended up dropping 3 songs and they all fucking sucked. Now, Sexy Red did what she needed to do to make her song kind of pop, but that's Sexy Red. Like, she has this thing where people like her music being really raunchy and stuff like that. So it worked out great for her. But for Drake, I don't think it worked out that great for him, because all he was doing was falling back into the stereotype that Kendrick kept calling out. All right, so let's move on. I don't give a F about you snakes or these other musicians. Ninjas started effing with my family. I'm going to prison. All right, so let's focus on this first one. So how does that relate to P. Diddy? A lot of people turned on P. Diddy. A lot of people wasn't stepping up to like defend his name. Really, no one was stepping up to defend his name. Same thing happened for Drake. Everyone kind of went radio silent, like completely radio silent. And then this line right here, I'm like, oh, he definitely talking about Sean. He definitely talking about Diddy. N-words started effing with my family. I'm going to prison. So let's call out some timelines. Did or did not Diddy go to jail right after his house got busted and his sons were handcuffed and on the ground? So when his kids got pulled into his mess, it seemed like all of a sudden Diddy ended up getting captured because he was about to leave the country. So I feel like that was a play on words to keep it relative to what Diddy was going through, but then also to say, you F with my family, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail for mine. So that was slick. That was a real slick double entendre. So then he goes on to say, and we all crashing out together, my brother's complicit. We all crashing out together. So me and you crashing out, motherfucker. Diddy. Drake is telling this man, we both crashing out. And all of our brothers are complicit. They not stepping up for us. You know, they're not stepping up and they're not coming to our defense. What do you do about that? My career is being destroyed by a guy that I hate, but I do have some respect for him, but not really. But I really hate this dude. And like, it seems like the world is taking his side and my career is being damaged because of it. And it's like, and you getting caught up in all this other stuff. And now you in jail and ain't nobody coming to our defense. Nobody, as much as we've done for people, nobody. Our brothers are complicit. I mean, that was deep. That was deep. You bring it together like that. But this shit right here, this is the kicker. This is how I knew he was talking about him. He's like, who put the bomb in your trunk? It was an exhibit. Now, if you've been watching any other reviews, you already know that a lot of people was calling out that being like a real like tough line. Like, oh, that was a real fire line. But they wasn't digging deep enough. They was like, oh yeah, you know, cause exhibit, he like pimped my ride and stuff like that. And he fixed up the cars and stuff. He had to show to fix up the cars. And you know, put the bomb in the trunk. It was an exhibit. Yes, all of that. But on the flip side, he's talking about Diddy. Do y'all remember when Kid Cudi, he accused Diddy of putting a bomb in his car and blowing his car up? Do y'all remember that? Yeah. That's what he meant by that. He said, who put a bomb in your trunk? It was an exhibit. Who is he talking to? He clearly is talking to Kid Cudi. Clearly. And it's like, nigga, it was an exhibit. It was Diddy. I'm trying to blow the doors off that bitch when you touch the ignition. Now, a lot of people really aren't speculating about this particular line. I think he really said that line to compliment the line before that, but then to also accentuate how serious he is. But that line was targeted towards someone else, and this line right here, he just saying that to like compliment the line before that. For real, if I take it that far, I'ma really take it that far. Then it's like, but then I gotta remember who made this shit come to fruition. So it's like, instead of me like going crazy, for real, crashing out in the worst way, why I start hurting people, I gotta come to terms with the fact that I was the one that pushed this shit to this limit, right? Of him talking to himself. I was the one that pushed this shit to this limit. But let's take it back to Diddy. How does that relate to Diddy? Man, do y'all remember when Cassie's husband kept getting on Twitter cursing Diddy out, talking about stop talking to my wife, stop liking my wife's posts, leave my wife alone? If you don't leave my wife alone, you're going to regret it. You remember when that man was saying that? And I was like, damn. I don't know if it's because he a white man and he really think he protected. Like, I mean, the boldness of it all. Or if he know he protected. Because he know he protected. Because he got something in his back pocket. That man knew all along that he had an ace up his sleeve because of the footage that him and Cassie ended up giving and leaking to the world. He knew he had it. And he knew without a doubt, if anything were to go wrong and Diddy was to step to him in any type of way or try to harm him or his family, he got the ace card. And what ended up happening? Diddy ended up pushing that man to the point to where Cassie ended up filing a lawsuit and suing him, because Cassie, I guarantee you, Cassie would have never said nothing if he would have just left her alone. But I can only imagine how much this man was still antagonizing her offline, because what he was doing online, it's like, you overstepping, man. Like, she married, she didn't have like 2 or 3 kids. Leave that girl alone. But then you still bothering her as if you don't have enough women you could be harassing. Shit, and enough men, as they say, right? You got too much going on in your life. Leave that girl alone. But at the end of the day, he did not want to stop. He kept going. And her husband like, all right, cool, bet. Bam, drop that lawsuit. And then right after this stupid motherfucker ended up settling, which was damn near within 24 hours, the damn video ended up leaking. Because he tried to come out and say, oh, I don't know what she talking about. I ain't never did nothing, blah, 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 blah. I'm innocent. Oh, okay, bitch, you still messing with my wife. All right, cool, we about to drop that tape. Go ahead and drop that tape. You made that shit come to fruition. Diddy, you are in jail because of you. You don't know when to stop. You don't know when to stop. If you would have left that girl alone, you would still be out here being a nuisance, terrorizing people behind closed doors. You would still be out here doing that. But because you just don't know when to quit, that's why your ass is in jail right now. And that's exactly what Drake is talking about. He's like, you know, I got to remember that the reason why I'm in this particular position right now, I done lost my brothers to this game, to this rap game. You know, Kendrick done got the world and children calling me a PDF file. You know, people can't trust, like, people don't want to do business with me. Like, I'm losing endorsements. I don't think he's losing endorsements, but he probably is. But it's like, you know, my arch enemy now is being touted as number one. He done got to the point to where people are saying he took my spot and people are counting me out. But I got to remember that I was the one that was taunting that man. And I brought him to the point of no return. And look at me now. Sad. And he's like, it was me. He's admitting it. It was me. I was the one that did it. So I can't really, you know, I can't really say nothing. But then this next line is what was like, all right, that seals the deal. Who's got the most to lose and who's in the other position? So with Diddy, right, you really risked your entire career, your reputation, and everything that you've built, all to harass a girl who did not want you because you used to beat her ass and keep her drugged up, and you used to make her sleep with prostitutes. Like, you tormented that girl, and you allowed your ego to get in the way because you hated the fact that her husband was able to steal her from you because he used to work for you, and he technically rescued her from your grip and your grasp. And you constantly berating that girl online, picking with her, nitpicking, liking her photos, saying little shit on her pictures and stuff or on her posts. And her husband is like, leave my wife alone, because clearly you were causing her PTSD. And you probably were also sending little other messages, probably like sending gifts and stuff to the house that made her remember certain things that then put her in a state of depression. If you ain't never met a person like that, there are lots of people out here who do stuff like that. So he probably has been doing a lot more than we know to that girl. And it's like, you allowed a girl who has nothing riding on nothing. She don't have nothing to lose to take you out the way that she did. Wow. And then for Drake, we know who he talking about. You talking about Kendrick. My thing is this, where the hell do you get off thinking that you're better than Kendrick or that you got more to lose than Kendrick? Both of y'all are at the top of the game. This shit could have went either way. You don't think that could have hurt Kendrick's career if you would have Meek Milled him? You don't think that would have hurt Kendrick's career? Like, let's be real. You really think that you above this dude? Like, on so many levels. To the point to where you would say some stuff like that. Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that line. And I'm going to address that later.